Folks, how we doing? It's Mr. Carter here, ready to do Home Link 711. Go ahead and put your name on this if you haven't yet already, and let's begin. So we are using fractions and mixed numbers here in solving all kinds of different types of problems. And they're asking you to draw a picture or show how you know, or show how you solve the problem. So if we're going 5 times 3/5, that's the same as saying you can go 5 times 3 over 5. That would be 15 over 5. So that would be 15 fifths, or 3, because you can break that apart again into 5 fifths plus 5 fifths, plus 5 fifths for a total of 5, 10, 15 fifths, and that's 1 whole, 2 wholes, 3 wholes. That equals 3. All right. So 4 and 2 sixths take away 2 and 4 sixths. Again, with subtraction, as you know, I prefer to stack them. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go 4 and 2 sixths, take away 2 and 4 sixths. So now we start with your fractions, and you can't take away 4 sixths from 2 sixths, so you need to trade. So we're going to go and trade our 4 to a whole, to 3. And now we're going to add, since we're dealing with 6, we're going to take our whole, which is 6 sixths, and add it to the 2 sixths that we already have. So 6 plus 2 is 8. So now we have a total of 8 sixths instead of 2 sixths. So now we can subtract. So 8 sixths take away 4. 6 is 4 sixths. 3 take away 2 is 1. So now we have our answer of 1 and 4 sixths. So now we're going to go and do 3, which is an addition problem. So I'm going to do this over here. So it's 5 and 7/8 plus 3 and 1/8. So again, so it's 5 and 7/8 plus 3 and 1/8. So I like to group my wholes together. So that's 5 plus 3, and then group my fractions together and go 7/8 plus 1/8. So now 5 plus 3 is 8, and we have 7/8 plus 1/8 is 8/8. So now we have 8 and 8/8. Well, we know that 8/8 equals a whole, so it's going to be actually not 8 and 8/8, but we're going to change that into 9. So our answer is 9. All right, so now we are multiplying a fraction times a mixed number, 3 times 4 and 1/4. So I'm going to draw down here, and again, you want to break that apart into 3 times 4, and then we're going to add that to 3 times 1/4. So if I go 3 times 4, I could draw a picture. Let's do that over here. To draw a picture, I could go 3 times 4. So that's 3 times 4, then we know that's 12, right? If we count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And you could also draw a picture for 3 times 1/4. So that's 1/4, 3 times. So that would be another 4th, and another 4th. So 1, 2, 3 fourths. So 12 plus 3 fourths is 12 and 3 fourths, which is our answer. Okay, so now the combined weight of an assortment of fruit is 8 3/4 pounds. When the fruit is on a tray, the tray weighs 10 1/4 pounds. So how many pounds does this tray weigh empty? So you got to take your weight, the combined weight of the tray and the fruit, and take away what the fruit weighs, and that'll give you what the tray weighs. So I'm going to do my work here on another paper just because there's more room. So I'm going to take that 10 and 1/4, and again, when we're subtracting, I like to stack them. 10 and 1/4 take away 8 and 3/4. So we need to trade. So we're going to go 10, which is now 9. So now a whole, since we're dealing with fourths, is 4/4. So our whole that we're trading is 4/4 plus the 1/4 we already have is total of 5/4. So it's 9 and 5/4. Take away 8 and 3/4. So now we can take away our 5/4 from our 3/4, which is 2/4. And 9 take away 8 is 1. So that's 1 and 2/4. So that's how much the tray weighs empty. 1 and 2/4. Or we know that 2/4 is the same as saying a half. So we could say 1 and 1/2. So now the next question is asking you, how many ounces does the tray weigh when empty? So we know that 1 pound equals 16 ounces. So now we need to take that 1.5 pounds that we have, so 1.5 pounds, and multiply it by 16 to figure out how many ounces total we have. Well, we can do it one of two ways. We can break it apart like we know how to do, or we could just kind of take a look and think about what 1.5 would be. Well, 1 pound is 16 ounces, and then we can add that to the half of a pound, which if we take half of 16 would be 8 ounces. Right? So this is 1 pound, this is half a pound, so it's 16 ounces plus 8 ounces. And that would be a total of 24 ounces. Okay, so now we've got quite a lengthy problem here, but we can break it apart and do it one step at a time. So if I go and say, so we're going to rewrite it on another piece of paper here. So we have 3 times 2 2/3, and we are adding that to 2 times 4 1/3. So what we got to do is do one parentheses at a time. So we're going to take 3 times 2/3, and we're going to solve that, and then we're going to solve 2 times 4 1/3, and then we're going to take those two and add them together at the end. So let's start with 3 times 2 2/3. So we know that we go 3 times 2, so we're going to take that 3, pass it out to the 2, and we're going to add that to 3 times 2/3. So, because again, when we're multiplying a fraction, a mixed number and a whole number, we want to take that whole number and multiply it to the whole number and then also to the fraction. So 3 times 2 is 6. And 3 times 2/3, well, we know that we take 3 and multiply it by 2 and keep our denominator the same. So 3 times 2 is 6 thirds. So that equals 6 6/3. But that is not how we write numbers, because we have a whole and then a top-heavy fraction or an improper fraction. So we got to take this improper fraction and make it and break it apart. So I'm going to just take that 6/3, and I'm going to go 3/3. That's 1 whole plus 3/3. And that would equal 6/3, right? Well, that's 1 whole and 2 wholes. So really 6 6/3 is the same as saying 6 plus 3/3 plus 3/3, which we know is 6 plus 1 whole plus 1 whole would equal 8. So what we have here is the answer is 8 for that first parentheses. So we're going to hold on to that. And now we're going to figure out this second part of the problem here, 2 times 4 1/3. So again, we've got to take the 2 and multiply it to the 4. We're going to add it to the 2 multiplied by 1/3. So it's 2 times 1/3. Well, we know that 2 times 4 is 8 plus 2 times 1/3. So you multiply the whole number times the numerator. So that's 2 times 1 is 2. And the denominator stays the same. So that's 8. 8 plus 2/3, so that equals 8 2/3. So now that's a good mixed number because we have a whole number and a fraction. It's not top heavy, so we don't need to do anything further to that. So now we're going to take the 8 that we had here plus the 8 2/3 that we got for that second set of parentheses. So 8 plus 8 2/3. So now we're just going to add our wholes. So that 8 plus 8 is 16. Can't forget our 2/3. So our answer for the whole problem is 16 2/3. Okay, so that's 16 2/3. All right, so now let's look at our practice, and we're dividing here. So I'm going to do 7 and 8 for you, and I'll have you do 9 and 10 on your own. So let's start with 7. It's 3 divided by 350. Well, I know I can go with 100, and go 100 times 3 is 300. That will leave me with 50 left. So I know that I can go, let's try 10. So we can do 10. 10 times 3 would be 30. That leaves me with 20. So I know that 3 times 6 is 18, which will then leave me with 2. We can no longer divide 3, so we have a remainder of 2. So now we need to add our side thing, which is 100 plus 10 plus 6 is 116 with a remainder of 2. So it's 100 and 116 with a remainder of 2. Okay, number 8 over here is 832 divided by 6. So now again I can go with 100. So I know that 100 times 6 is 600. 2 take away 0 is 2. 3 take away 0 is 3. 8 take away 6 is 2. So now I'm left with 232. So I know that 6 times 3 is 18. But if I put an extended fact, that will give me 180. So 30 times 6 is 180. So that will leave me with 2. Take away 13 is 5. So now I'm left with 52. So I know that 6 times 8 is 48. So that brings me close to that 52. Again, subtracting. So I am needing to trade here. So that's 4, 12, 12. So that leaves me with 4. And I can no longer divide 6 into 4. So that is our remainder. So now I need to add what we have. We have 138. So 138 with a remainder of 4. So that is our answer here. 138, the remainder of 4. All right. Well, that's it for now. Hope this was helpful. Have a good night.